finally here!
Christmas has arrived. I wallow in it all.
You're in terrible danger, girl.
Are you crazy? It's not safe out here. It is bedlam out there.
That's why you should all go home, where it is safe. Come on, hurry. No time for talking.
Open the hatch.
Wait a minute. Who let it in? The chef could be infected. You know the quarantine procedure.
Indulge me.
Sit tight. I have a sweet treat in store.
My Christmas treat. Come with me. I've been shopping. There's something I love doing at this time of year. These are my stash of books. I keep vowing to myself that I'm going to pare it all down and not add anything new. Well, yeah, well, that hasn't happened, has it?
Merry Christmas, everyone!
I'm saying Wales, the Daleks now in town.
What does that mean?
Merry Christmas, everyone!
Oh, lovely. What's it again?
The Daleks now in.
This is one of my new Christmas jumpers, a Disney Little Mermaid one.
I think one has a duty to dress for the occasion.
I think the expression, as camp as Christmas, comes to mind.
I'm going to show you all my Christmas jumpers in my October-November favourites video. But before I did that, I wanted to show you my books that I bought. For my birthday at the start of November, my parents got me this £20 voucher for Scriveners, which is this beautiful, beautiful bookshop in Buxton. So today I went there with my friend and I wore my little Hobbit outfit, which is like a poncho and some Lord of the Rings merch I have. So I felt very, very, very bookish going to the bookshop today. It's about a 40-minute drive from where I live in Stockport, so I had a lovely drive and had a lovely day getting some books. They're all second-hand and antiquarian books, but at the front of the bookshop, like right at the front, they had boxes of free books. I took quite a few.
I didn't plan on this, but it is what it is.
Wendy, come on, Wendy!
So I'm going to run through the books I bought.
Igitus, figitus, sumba, kazing! I want your attention, everything!
About half of these books I bought today, and then some of them I've just been buying since it was my birthday in November. So these are the free books that I got first of all. I got an anthology called Themes and Variations. There's some themes of time, nature, war, inheritors. Ooh, there's a Sylvia Plath poem in here. But I also wanted it because the editor was called R.B. Heath, and I've never seen a literary person whose last name was Heath. My name is Heathman, my last name, and I know that there was a Prime Minister called Edward Heath, which is really close to my name, but my last name is Heathman, so I was like, oh, maybe Heathman is a literary name. Growing up as a kid, I was like, what is the name Heathman? Like, I've never heard of that before. Apart from in Macbeth, where the witches are like, we will be on the heath. And then when I read Wuthering Heights, I was like, oh, Heathcliff kind of sounds like my last name, Heathman. So I was like, I guess Heathman is quite a literary last name. Yeah. But anyway, this was free. Another one I got was The Spire by William Golding, just for the cover, but because, you know, William Golding is a really good writer anyway, isn't he? John Updike, Rabbit Run. This is meant to be really good. H. Coombs, Literature and Criticism. I have a few non-fiction ebooks like this. This one's about poetry. The essays didn't seem like that long, and it seems like it will actually be really good. Sheridan Le Fanu, who wrote In a Glass Darkly.
An impressive title.
A book on astrology, horoscopes and shit like that. I've wanted a book like that for ages, but this was free. E.M. Forster, A Passage to India. I've never read any E.M. Forster, which is quite embarrassing. Hiran Desai, The Inheritance of Loss, which won the Man Booker. And I was like, a free book that won the Man Booker. And the last one was The Selected Poems of Lorca. I checked when this was free, I was like, is it because they're all in German? But they're like in German on one side, and then there's an English translation by various poets on the right side. So I do really like some of Lorca's stuff. Right, and then these are the books I bought in Scriveners. I got a Truman Capote biography. I love Truman Capote. He was so sassy and intelligent and witty. I can't wait to gobble this up. Seeing Things by Seamus Heaney. I really like Seamus Heaney. I think he manages to be literary without ever being too over the top with it. He's a poet I really, really respect because he wasn't breaking out into novels and stuff, which is fine if poets want to do that. But he was like, I am a poet and I'm going to stick to that and be fantastic at it. Some more poetry. I got W.H. Auden's Select Poems. So his poem, The Fall of Rome, is one of my favourite poems of all time. I only have an actual collection of his called Look Stranger. I do like reading poets in collections as well, but I do really want The Fall of Rome. But this is actually a really nice selected poems of his, so snatched it up. Evelyn Waugh, Scoop. Never heard of this at all, but I did like the cover. And I just know Evelyn Waugh is a really well-renowned writer. Some more Anne Tyler, Breathing Lessons. It said a work of art and her finest novel. I already have a couple of Anne Tyler books, not her latest one, because I want to read more of her before I check that out. If this is meant to be her best novel, why not check this out first? Some Margaret Drabble. Now, this cover looks very Pride-ish, but it's nothing to do with Pride at all. It's just an older-fashioned cover. But I read Jerusalem the Golden by her a couple of years ago, and I was really swept away by her prose. It was so, so beautiful. I'd never heard of it before. The Radiant Way centres on 3 women all brought up in the north of England, all educated at the same Cambridge College, and all, as the novel opens, living in London. A large cast of husbands, friends and relatives, the social and political changes in the 1980s. It actually sounds really good. The Untouchable by John Banville. I've not read any John Banville, so thought this would be a good place to start. This is also a nice edition. I knocked my phone off the stack of books I rest my phone on to film. I got some Salman Rushdie. I've only read a bit of the Satanic Verses, which I was doing for a neoliberalism course in 3rd year. I only got 30 pages in, and then I was like, this is quite dense. And, you know, I was in full-time higher education. I was like, I do not have the time to read this, so I didn't read any more of it. But I still have the edition. I really want to read Midnight's Children, but they're really dense and really highly literary. So I want to read maybe some more down-to-earth stuff from him first. So I got The Moor's Last Sigh, but this is a 1st edition.
You belong to me.
And then I got this really nice edition of David Copperfield. Now, I've really wanted David Copperfield for years and years and years, because I feel like I will really love this book. From what I've seen from extracts and stuff, it seems to be like all about how you can try to narrate like an entire lifetime. I really hope I'll love it, and this is a nice edition, rather than like all the horrible Penguin editions you see of it. Like this one, like the font is decent size. Beautiful. I've not read any Dickens either, so I feel like that would be a good place to start with Dickens, maybe. And I got The Plot Against America by Philip Roth. I think Adam from Memento Mori recommended this because I've not read any Philip Roth. I had Why I Married a Communist, and then he said that this is probably the better one to start with, so... And then the last book I bought from Scriveners...
Doesn't it seem like a bit much?
Oh, no.
I don't give a toss.
Oh, here we go.
is another Rushdie, which is The Enchantress of Florence. A tall, yellow-haired, young European traveller calling himself the Mughal of Love arrives at the court of the real Grand Mughal, the Emperor Akbar, with a tale to tell that begins to obsess the whole imperial capital. As soon as I read that, I was like, this sounds so good. So maybe I'll start with this one. And this cover is also so beautiful. Like, look at the end papers. Oh my god. Have any of you read any of this? Because the only ones I hear about with Rushdie is The Satanic Verses and Midnight Children. Apart from that, no one ever talks about his other books, so I really want to find out a bit more about him. Okay, and then these are the books that I purchased from November just myself. Right, so first up we have the 2020 Manchester Anthology. On my master's degree, it's creative writing. And at the end of the degree, you all get like something published in the anthology. The people from last year on my course, because I'm part-time, so I'm doing it second year. I'm not in this one. I'll be in the one next year, hopefully. I wanted to support them, so I'm really excited to read this. So it's like poetry, it's fiction. I'll read you a poem from one of the people who was in my poetry classes, because I always liked her stuff. This was by Elenia Graf, who is on Instagram. This one's called Documentary on Bread Making. I saw another movie and we weren't in it. Your buzz cut my fingertips. The screenplay didn't account for us building a room full of birds up in your attic. I feel wing feathers flitting in my belly and I don't think they could catch that on camera. The wonder I house, the humming of my mortal parts. I want to bake bread with you, sticky dough fingerprints on your cheeks, from when I stopped the tiresome kneading, to hold your face in the fluorescence, just us, and our shadows under kitchen light. I never want to give you crumbs. I want to give you an entire loaf. Warm bread on the counter every day. We bite through the crust and laugh with our mouths full. And next, some more books I bought. So I got some Isherwood, A Single Man, which feels too close to home.
Because I'm not really in the market for anything complicated right now.
Perks of Being a Wallflower. Some Camus, The Outsider. I've wanted this for ages. After I read The Plague last year, before COVID, I was like, I want to read The Outsider. Milkman by Anna Burns. Less by Andrew Sean Greer. G.K. Reeds recommended this. Looking for Alaska by John Green. The Paris Architect by Charles Belfour. 1942 Paris. Architect Lucien Bernard accepts a commission that will bring him huge wealth and maybe a death sentence. He has to design a secret hiding place for a wealthy Jewish man, a space so invisible that even the most determined of Nazi soldiers won't discover it. In the supermarket Tesco, sometimes they have like donation book points, so this was there, so I just snatched it. I love Paris, and I also find the Nazi occupation one of the most fascinating, like, historical times ever. Just seeing how the world came to that. Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. Have high expectations for this. Daphne du Maurier, My Cousin Rachel. This is meant to be awesome. Kurt Vonnegut, The Sirens of Titan. I've read Slaughterhouse-Five by him, enjoyed it, so I want to read some more of him. I don't know anything about this one. What We Talk About When We Talk About Love by Carver. Hanif Kureishi, The Last Word. I've read The Black Album by him, and I really want to read The Buddha of Suburbia, but I really like Hanif Kureishi. Now, this one I've wanted for years. This is Black Venus, one of Angela Carter's lesser-known short story collections, but I adore Angela Carter, so can't wait for this. The Colour Purple by Alice Walker, meant to be very good. The Castle by Franz Kafka. I've read Kafka's short stories, so I want to give this novel a go, and I do like the title, The Castle. And then the last one is Cormac McCarthy, The Crossing, Volume 2 of the Border Trilogy. I didn't know this was part of a trilogy. If I had, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I don't know what the first book in the trilogy was, so I guess I'll have to get that first before I read this. I do like Cormac McCarthy from what I've read from him. Okay, that is all the books that I've bought recently, which is quite a lot, but I have room for them. This book voucher, it looks like it's from like a printing press. I love this, it's so cute. So this is going next to my inspo board back there. If you want any books for Christmas, what books do you want? And have you bought yourself any books recently? Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.